Welcome to Jews United for Justice's What's at Stake in the 2022 general elections. My name is Mike English. I use he, him pronouns, and I live in downtown Silver Spring in State District 20. I'm also a member of the JUFJ housing team. I'm part of the JUFJ team that is presenting this program because I believe elections matter and I want to be an informed voter. It sometimes seems like there is a constant drumbeat of bad news. Supreme Court decisions that take away hard-won rights, special interest groups who are spending millions to influence elections, climate change resulting in worsening natural disasters, and so much more. But with this, it has become even more clear how important local decision-making is to attempt to blunt some of the worst impacts of wider political systems and decisions. As we were putting together this presentation, we were struck over and over by the enormous impact that our state and local officials have on our lives and the lives of our neighbors, including health, schools, housing, transit, and so much more. Every election cycle, I find myself focusing on specific races, and then when it comes time to vote, I look at the pages of races and candidates and I get overwhelmed. In this presentation, we are going to talk about key statewide elected offices in Maryland, not just what they are, but also why they matter. Our goal is to give you a broad overview and then share lots of resources so you can dig deeper into the issues and races as you prepare to vote and make sure that vote aligns with your values. Throughout the program, we're going to tell stories about the power elected officials have, using case studies from the issues that JUFJ and our partners work on. The issues that we tell stories about may or may not be the issues that you care about the most. That's okay. We'll be sharing resources so you can research the candidates and learn about their positions on the issues that matter most to you. Lastly, this presentation is meant to be modular. You'll notice that this presentation is broken up into shorter videos. We invite you to watch as much or as little as is helpful to you. We're going to be covering a lot of ground in this program, so just a few notes up front. Everything we are discussing today is nonpartisan and tailored to be shared with congregations and nonprofits. The presentation slides and all of the resources we are going to share are available on our website, jufj.org, and linked in the YouTube description. If you need access to any materials we've mentioned, please email Eliana at jufj.org. As we get started, we want to share JUFJ's mission because it informs how we think about what's at stake in the general election. We advance economic, racial, and social justice in Maryland and DC by educating and mobilizing our local Jewish communities and allies. We focus on issue-based campaigns that make real, immediate, and concrete improvements in people's lives. Through these campaigns, we develop leaders, build our base, shift the consciousness of our community, and alter relations of power. And we work with partner organizations led by and made up of impacted people to build the collective power needed to undo systemic racism and inequity. Now I'm going to pass it to Joe to ground us in our Jewish values.
Hi, my name is Jo Schifrin. I use she, her pronouns. I live in Bethesda in County District 1 and in State District 16. I'm a co-chair of the Community Building and Education team and a member of JUFJ's Montgomery County Leadership Council. JUFJ strives to be guided by the sacred values of Jewish tradition and by the history of our ancestors who sought justice. These values sustain us and provide us with ethical and spiritual direction. As a Jewish organization committed to achieving social, economic, and racial justice for all people, when it comes time for an election, we are called not just to vote, but to vote our values. The Jewish sage Hillel taught us that we cannot separate ourselves from the community. And according to Rabbi Yitzchak, whose words are in the Babylonian Talmud, Berechot 55a, a ruler is not to be appointed unless the community is consulted. When we participate in local elections, we take responsibility for ensuring that our leaders represent our values and that we strengthen our connection to the larger community. Next, Anita is going to talk about why local elections are so important.
My name is Anita Landau. I use she, her pronouns. I live in Bethesda in District 16, and I am the co-chair of JUFJ's Montgomery County Leadership Council. Now, when we say every vote matters at the state and local level, we are not exaggerating. There are some powerful examples from this summer's primaries. In Montgomery County, Mark Ellerich won the Democratic primary for county executive by only 32 votes. In Frederick County, in one of the primary races, there was a 1 vote difference. They did a recount, and still the difference was 1 vote. It could not be more clear that every vote matters. I'm now going to pass things to Heidi to talk about redistricting and the impact it will continue to have on the election.
My name is Heidi Rhodes. I use she, her pronouns. I live in Colesville, which is County District 5 and State District 14, and I'm a member of the Montgomery County Leadership Council. As we talk about the different positions on the ballot, a very reasonable question is, what's my district? It would seem like this would be a straightforward question, but it's not. Your congressional, state, county, city, and Board of Education districts are all different. With all statewide positions and most local positions on the ballot in 2022, this means you will be voting for candidates in all the different relevant districts. Based on the 2020 census results, districts for all levels of government have been evaluated and many have been redrawn. In the 2022 general election, as in the 2022 primary, you will vote for candidates in your new districts. Last summer, the Maryland General Assembly approved new maps for Maryland's federal and state districts. In the slides accompanying this presentation, you will find links to maps with the new congressional districts, Maryland legislative districts, as well as links to find your current federal and state representatives. Now we're going to shift to discussing what positions are on the ballot at the state level. The races we're going to cover are governor and lieutenant governor, attorney general, comptroller, and the General Assembly. With the rollback of civil liberties by the Supreme Court and in other states, it is more clear than ever that our Maryland elected officials are critical to protecting abortion rights and voting rights and preventing the targeting of the LGBTQ+ community that we have seen in too many states. In the next video, Mike will talk about the race for Maryland governor and lieutenant governor.